Let's break it down straight from the hill to your hometown. No spin, no hype, just facts we find. AI's on the case, no truth left behind. Laws are written, deals are made. Who's got your back, who's throwing shade? We cut through the noise, decode the text, keeping it real. Congress in context, Congress in context, shining the light, breaking it down so you know what's right. Policies, votes, who's working for you? We bring the facts, the power is you.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're diving into some pretty dense material today.
Wow.
So get ready.
Buckle up.
The Congressional Record from February 14th, 2025.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be good. But honestly, there's some real gems in here.
You would be surprised.
It's a transcript of everything that happens in Congress.
It's like a total behind-the-scenes look at how laws get made.
Yeah, like a reality show.
But for politics.
Right. And there's drama.
Oh, tons.
We've got a billionaire trying to dismantle, like, a major government program.
Oh, yeah.
A Marine who saved like 100 lives being honored.
Incredible story.
And a congressman who wants to make a new holiday.
That's always interesting.
It's going to be a wild ride.
And what's really fascinating is how all of these like individual stories, they connect back to the bigger picture.
Right.
How our countries run.
And policy.
Governance, the whole
So by the end of this, you'll have a way better understanding of how decisions made in Washington
impact you.
every citizen.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right in.
No. Let's do it.
First up, we've got Congressman John Garamendi really sounding the alarm about the potential dismantling of USI by Elon Musk,
who is now, of course,
President Musk.
President Musk, that's right.
I mean, USI, it's the United States Agency for International Development.
Huge.
They provide humanitarian aid and development assistance to countries all over the world. And Garamendi, he really lays out the stakes here.
What does he say?
He tells this incredibly powerful story
Oh, wow.
about a woman
Okay.
in a famine camp
Yeah.
just desperately trying to gather spilled grain
Oh, God.
to feed her starving children.
It's a stark reminder of the human impact of USAID's work.
For sure.
It's, this is a classic example of what we call soft power in international relations.
Okay.
It's the idea that a country can influence others not just through military,
Right.
but through things like diplomacy and aid. And programs like USAID are really crucial to America's image on the world stage.
Yeah.
It's all about influence.
Okay, so this whole thing is even more interesting because of Musk.
Right.
A billionaire.
With
Significant resources.
very significant.
Played a major role in the presidential election that brought him to power.
So that raises the question, how much influence should someone with that kind of wealth have on government policy?
That's a big one.
It's a question a lot of people are asking.
Definitely food for thought.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's move on from the complexities of global aid
Okay.
to a story of incredible heroism.
I love these.
Congressman Thomas Suozzi
Okay.
pays tribute to Corporal Stephen Crowley,
All right.
a Marine who died protecting the U.S. Embassy in Islamabad
Oh, wow.
back in 1979.
That was a chaotic and dangerous attack on the embassy.
It was.
But Corporal Crowley, he held his post,
Yeah.
made sure that almost 100 embassy employees got to safety.
He lost his life in the process.
A true hero.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder of the risks that our armed forces face.
Especially the Marine Security Guard program.
Yeah, they're the ones responsible for protecting our embassies all around the world.
All over.
Corporal Crowley's sacrifice was recognized with the Bronze Star Medal and the Purple Heart.
And there are several memorials dedicated to him.
Yeah, it's a story that really underscores the human cost of national security.
And the bravery of those who protect American interests.
Absolutely a story that deserves to be heard and remembered.
For sure.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit
Okay.
and take a look at the legislative landscape.
Sounds good.
We see a whole bunch of bills introduced in the House of Representatives.
Covering what kind of topics?
All sorts of stuff.
The sheer variety is amazing.
For example,
Hit me.
H.R. 1369,
Okay.
a bill that would award a Congressional Gold Medal to former President Jimmy Carter for his humanitarian work.
It's one of the highest civilian honors Congress can bestow.
Yeah, it's reserved for people who've made truly outstanding contributions.
And President Carter is widely admired for his work with the Carter Center.
Absolutely promoting peace and global health.
This bill really reflects his lasting impact.
Then we've got H.R. 1371.
What's that one about?
Aims to officially combine President's Day with Washington's birthday,
Interesting.
creating one big celebration.
On the third Monday in February?
This bill actually touches on like a really interesting evolution of American holidays.
Oh, tell me about it.
So President's Day, as we know, it started as a way to honor George Washington specifically.
Right.
Then it expanded to include Abraham Lincoln, and eventually became a more generalized celebration of all presidents.
And now there's this debate about whether combining it with Washington's birthday would, like, dilute the meaning.
Or just reflect how the holiday has already changed over time.
It's all about how we choose to remember our past leaders.
Fascinating.
Right?
And speaking of potentially controversial figures,
Uh-oh.
we've got H.R. 1395, a bill to create a brand new federal holiday,
For?
Donald Trump's birthday and Flag Day,
Wow, okay.
now establishing a federal holiday.
Not easy.
It involves both houses of Congress and the president's signature.
This one's going to spark some debate,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Especially considering how recent Trump's presidency was.
Yeah, and people have very strong opinions about his legacy.
It's a reminder that creating federal holidays is often tied to bigger cultural and political things.
Absolutely.
And each of these bills,
Yeah.
they all have a constitutional authority statement.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, it explains which parts of the Constitution give Congress the power to pass these laws.
Like a little legal cheat sheet.
Right.
Showing how every action Congress takes has to be based on the Constitution.
Pretty cool.
It's essential
Yeah.
because it shows that Congress isn't just making stuff up as they go along.
Right.
They have a legal basis.
In our founding
The
document,
Constitution.
now amidst all this talk about presidents and holidays, I noticed something interesting.
What's that?
H.R. 1363,
Okay.
a bill to make the Honor and Remember flag an official symbol.
Recognizing fallen members of the armed forces.
And this one has bipartisan sponsorship. Both Democrats and Republicans are supporting it.
Which is pretty remarkable in our current Congress.
I know, right?
It shows that even in our divided political climate, there are still some things that can bring people together.
Like honoring those who have served our country.
For sure.
It gives you a little bit of hope.
Definitely.
And it makes you wonder what other issues might have that power to bridge the divide.
That's a great question to think about.
Right. What do you think?
It really gets at the heart of what we're trying to do here, you know?
Understand how these individual stories and actions connect to the bigger picture.
And how you, the listener, can make sense of it all.
Exactly. Now let's dig a little deeper into some of these stories and see what else we can find. We talked about USA to see, but I want to go back to Congressman Garamendi's speech for a sec.
Yeah, there's more to it.
There's a lot more to unpack.
Like what?
He wasn't just worried about the program being, like, dismantled.
You're right.
He was really concerned about, like, a clash of values in the administration.
It was a pretty direct rebuke of the potential changes under President Musk.
Yeah.
He even urged both Musk and former President Trump
Oh, wow.
to visit a famine camp themselves.
Really?
Yeah, to see the impact firsthand.
Bold move.
But it sounds like Garamendi has seen the effects of these programs up close and personal.
I mean, I guess so.
He and his wife actually volunteered for a USAID vaccination program in Ethiopia years ago.
Oh, wow.
So his words carry a lot of weight.
It's not just theoretical for him.
No, not at all.
It really shows the contrast between those who prioritize immediate human needs
Yeah.
and those who are focused on long-term technological advancements.
Which is what Musk is known for.
Yeah.
So it raises questions about the balance between progress and aid.
Especially as technology becomes more important in global policy.
Right.
Garamendi argues that these programs are essential for America's standing in the world.
And for promoting stability.
He even said that dismantling USAID would be like a betrayal of American values.
And a strategic blunder.
Strong words.
He's passionate about this issue.
Clearly.
His speech is like a rallying cry for anyone who believes in diplomacy.
And humanitarian assistance.
Making a real difference.
It reminds us that the decisions in Washington, these bills, these policies,
They have real consequences.
for people all over the world.
Sometimes those consequences are felt most by the people who are already the most vulnerable.
Absolutely. Okay, speaking of real-world consequences,
Yeah.
let's go back to Corporal Stephen Crowley.
The Marine who was honored by Congressman Swazi.
His bravery during that attack on the embassy in Islamabad,
It really says something.
I mean, the attack itself was fueled by misinformation and anger.
Yeah, it made this situation even more terrifying.
But Corporal Crowley stayed at his post
Risking his own life.
to protect almost 100 embassy employees.
His actions were selfless.
He made the ultimate sacrifice.
And Congressman Swazi's tribute, it goes beyond just recounting the events of that day.
Yeah.
He highlights the dedication of everyone in the Marine Security Guard program.
Protecting American diplomatic missions
It's a tough job.
all over the world.
Constant risks.
Rigorous training.
Makes you think about the diplomats and embassy staff, too.
The people on the front lines of international relations.
Often working in really dangerous places.
Corporal Crowley's story is a testament to the bravery and commitment.
Of those who serve their country in this way.
Absolutely. His legacy is one of courage and selflessness.
And dedication to duty.
So we've explored these personal stories of heroism and conviction.
Yeah.
But we also have to remember that they're happening against this backdrop.
Of a really active legislative landscape.
All these bills being introduced in the House.
Each one giving us a peek into the concerns of our lawmakers.
It's like a snapshot of what's on their minds.
The most pressing issues facing the nation.
One that really stood out to me was H.R. 1369.
The bill to award former President Jimmy Carter the Congressional Gold Medal.
For his humanitarian work.
It's amazing how he's continued to make a difference even after leaving office.
The Carter Center.
Promoting peace and global health.
It's leadership that doesn't end with a term limit.
Absolutely.
And then there's H.R. 1371.
The one that combines President's Day and Washington's birthday.
Yeah, it seems like a simple change, but it sparks this whole conversation.
About how we honor our past leaders.
President's Day started as a way to honor Washington.
Then it included Lincoln.
And now it's for all presidents.
So does combining it with Washington's birthday dilute the meaning?
Or does it acknowledge how the holiday has already evolved?
Fascinating debate.
And then there's H.R. 1395.
A new federal holiday for Donald Trump's birthday?
And Flag Day.
This one's definitely going to stir things up.
Big time.
Establishing a new federal holiday is a big deal.
It usually means the person or event is like super important.
Yeah, this bill's going to get a lot of reactions.
Both positive and negative.
It's a reminder that even something like a holiday
Can be political.
What's interesting is that all these bills have a constitutional authority statement.
It's like a legal footnote.
Explaining why Congress has the power to make these laws.
Even small actions
Like creating a holiday.
have to be grounded in the Constitution.
It shows that Congress isn't all-powerful.
Their actions have limits.
Set by the Constitution.
Now, in the middle of all this legislative activity,
Yeah.
there's H.R. 1363.
To make the Honor and Remember flag a symbol for fallen service members.
This one has bipartisan support.
Which is rare these days.
Democrats and Republicans coming together.
To honor those who have served our country.
It's heartwarming.
It suggests that despite our differences, we still have shared values.
The Honor and Remember flag,
A symbol of unity.
reminding us of the sacrifices made by service members.
From all walks of life.
It makes you think what other issues could bring us together.
What matters enough to transcend political labels?
A great question to consider.
As we keep going through the Congressional Record.
We'll keep exploring how these stories and actions connect to the bigger picture.
Of how our government works.
It's easy to get lost in the big headlines.
Yeah.
You know?
The policy debates.
All the political stuff.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that these decisions,
In Washington?
they affect real people.
Absolutely. The Congressional Record, it often captures those individual stories.
Yeah.
Giving us a glimpse into how policy plays out in real life.
It's like zooming in.
From the wide shot to the close-up.
Exactly. And in this record, we see a lot of examples.
Of members of Congress recognizing people in their communities.
Like Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne from Texas,
What did she do?
highlighting Thomas Paskvan,
Who is that?
this young fiddler from her district.
A fiddler.
Yeah, he won some big competition.
It might seem small, but it shows how important it is to encourage the arts.
And celebrate culture.
Especially in a world that's always changing.
Right, preserving those traditions.
Exactly.
Then Van Dyne recognizes Joe DePinto,
Okay.
the CEO of 7-Eleven,
Oh.
for his work with veterans and education.
So we go from a fiddler to a CEO.
What a range.
Yeah.
What's the connection?
Well, they're both about giving back.
To the community. DePinto, even with all his success, he's dedicated to supporting military families.
And education.
It shows that you don't have to be in office to make a difference.
You can make an impact from anywhere.
And then there's Congressman Greg Stanton from Arizona.
What did he do?
He's paying tribute to Philip Austin,
Who's that?
a lawyer who spent his life fighting for civil rights
Wow.
and the Latino community.
Sounds like a true advocate.
He was.
What did he accomplish?
He helped pass Arizona's first fair housing legislation
Wow.
and anti-discrimination laws protecting the elderly and disabled.
Incredible.
He was also a big advocate for like mediation and dispute resolution.
Interesting.
He even started the East Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
To support Latino entrepreneurs.
What a legacy.
He really fought for a more just society.
He did. And then we have Congresswoman Ilhan Omar recognizing Scott Lund, the former mayor of Fridley, Minnesota.
Her.
Decades of service to his community.
What kind of service?
Mayor Lund was all about the environment. He led projects that revitalized industrial areas, cleaned up pollution, improved the city's parks.
He sounds very hands-on.
He was known for listening to residents.
And working together to solve problems.
If we look at all these stories, there's a common thread.
What's that?
Giving back to your community.
Whether it's through public office,
community organizations,
or just being a good person.
And that brings us back to the whole point of this deep dive.
Into the Congressional Record.
It's not just about what's happening in Washington.
It's about how those actions connect to our lives.
So why should you care about the Congressional Record?
Well, it might seem boring at first.
It does.
But it's a window into our democracy.
It shows how laws are made.
How our representatives are working for us.
And how people are making a difference.
You're not just a spectator.
You have the power to shape things.
Staying informed is crucial.
Read the Congressional Record online.
Follow your representatives on social media.
Go to town hall meetings.
And most importantly, vote.
Make your voice heard.
Your voice matters.
Even small actions can make a difference.
And as we saw with Musk and USI,
things can change.
The fight is never over.
So stay curious. Keep asking questions.
And don't underestimate your own power.
Because understanding our government
and participating in the process,
it's not just a right.
It's a responsibility.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the Congressional Record.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you learned something.
And feel inspired to get involved.
Until next time, keep diving deep.